as a crypto investor, you should be happy looking at the market, saying there's a lot of money coming into the market. Last 24 hours, it's 1.45 billion, and to the crypto exchanges, it's about a billion. Now, it's not only USDT which is coming into the market, because right now you see like 50 billion in USDT, but you also see USD coin and Binance USD having more and more volume. They are getting more attention. Now, as an XRP holder, you should be happy how things are evolving, especially when people like this identify or purely understand what this can actually do, because your patience with this asset is going to be massively rewarding. As you see the price bouncing short term, don't go naive saying, okay, this is the top, it's gonna drop. Things are changing, and just listen to like how Raul actually break this out. And this is a macro guy, and it's not the XRP maximalist as others call watching him, and it's not small number of people who are watching him. So if it is big guys, now my understanding is, including Robert Kiyosaki, people actually, the traditional investors, go to Raul asking like, okay, what's your opinion about crypto? What should we buy? And if this is that narrative, he personally hold it, he understands what it is doing, and not like what we talk, a little bit more clearer. That means these big guys are heavy on XRP for sure. And I'm not giving one single unit of mine, but without fighting till the end. I don't think patience is not going to be rewarded, especially with XRP and whatever we are observing right now in terms of fundamentals. I'm like, this is super bullish for anyone who has XRP. But the difference is, if you don't have the level of patience which you really want, when things are unrolling like this, it's going to be hard.
There's this weird narrative from the past about Ripple. The point being is, even if they have to settle a lawsuit and get a slap on the wrist, Ripple plays actually quite an important role. It's a money transmission network, and it does quite a good job of it. And it has deep connections with global governments around the world and has worked really hard on it. So there is a reason the chain is valued as highly as it is, and it's not from speculation, because actually, it got taken off a whole bunch of exchanges because of the lawsuit.
Now, Raul, as a macro guy, giving you that narrative is clear, because we already understand that, right? It is not in a lot of big exchanges within the biggest country of the world in terms of the GDP, US. They've taken it out. And what are we looking at from here? The value. And how does he put that? The current thing is not speculation, where majority of the other assets inside this asset class has that element of speculation. But for XRP, you are not watching that. And how does he actually put that narrative? Like, what is happening with the actual utility? Because that is the key for the value to be coming into the price.
It's actually because when I use my net cast law model, the amount of value that gets transacted on the chain is very high. It's being used. So I think if you lift the legal issue, probability is that the value of the chain increases significantly. And as the world moves towards central bank digital currencies, I think the XRP network is going to be somewhere at the center of all of that. So
now that precisely from Raul is going to hurt a lot of Ether guys and all, because this guy is massive on those two. But he does understand these are different animals. One is for payments, other was designed more like a building platform on which you can actually build with the smart contracts. But here, keep this understanding stable for you. CBDC era is here, and even these big guys clearly understand, like Ripple, the company has placed XRP Ledger at the center of everything like this. So in terms of payments using central bank digital currencies, XRP Ledger is going to play a vital role for sure.
Yeah, I don't rule it out. I know it's not flavor of the day for a lot of people. I think it's a big player, it's a real player, and it has its niche.
It's a big play, it's a real play, and it has its niche. Now, that's all what we are talking about. If you are a real value investor, you look at the value and the current price. Now, in terms of technical analysis, you can just look at the price and say like, okay, XRP is here. What does that actually mean? You came to the downside, you are consolidating there, it's all agreed, there is no difference. But what can you digest directly from the market? Because you observe things like this, it comes down, it consolidates there, and then what happens? You go up. So that's something what we are looking at right now for XRP to go back up. So if you are here already in the market and your patience is running out and you are ready to jump out of this, don't do that. It's not you, me, and others who are heavy on XRP saying this. That's a macro guy, and a lot of people, big investors, are listening to this guy. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So we do understand like the money is coming into the market, and right now it's being consistent. And then you go look at the Bitcoin market to actually understand like, okay, what does this actually mean? You actually see inflows to the exchanges slowly increasing, not like before. And then you're going to look at the demand side of it and to see like, okay, how much of it is actually going to the fiat exchange and how much is actually going to the crypto exchanges. So that is actually clear considering the total amount. Majority is actually going to the crypto exchanges because people do understand there is a lot of opportunity to seize if you are here in the market depending on your risk profile. But breakouts are happening almost in a lot of different coins with some kind of value. And that's why this time it's going to be utility kicking in for a lot of assets in terms of the price. So when we talk about utility, it's not just XRP what we will say as a utility asset. You go into the market and you look at all of these and say there is a lot of different niche. You can go on the payment side of this. You can go on the smart contract side of this. You can go different route, right? And you see a lot of them are here with a lot of volume, even after people saying dumb things about this networks, but they are surviving, and the developer activity on many of these are exponential now. And during a bear market, during a corrective session, when the trend is down, if you see people doing that, understand one thing: as the market reverses and start to go back up, you are literally going to observe a lot more action there. Yes, on a short term, you're breaking higher. Great, you have the next level of resistance here. But as you zoom out, look at the big picture. This is what you are looking at. It's not the first level of resistance, which is going to be the biggest resistance for you now. That's just 10%. But what you're most likely going to look at is another 50% run in the market. And alt market doing another 50% means a lot of coins are going to do 100, 200, 300% in coming weeks. And if you see these breaking higher, then that definitely actually means you are going for a big play, because the RSI usually gives you a hint what the market is going to do. And if it is breaking here, it's at the verge of that breakout. And if it does break out, that's a huge change from a trend which has been forming from April 2021. So you waited long enough, and now the time is actually coming in. So one thing which you have to keep in mind is like people ask like, okay, why is the crypto market, why is the stock market slowly bouncing? Now you can actually ask like, okay, that was level of support resistance. You came back, you are trying to bounce. And if we get rejected from the 200-day moving average, you are going to come back down. Agreed. But right now, there has been a shift. Now, last month, when you look at like stronger than expected momentum in the Biden economy, blah, blah, blah. So right now, this is given to the market. But then you try to actually go look at like what happened last month, how things were actually evolving, and you had a talk of how the inflation expectations are dropping. So it's not only one or two areas, and it's like, this is like Last month, you are checking through all this, you're talking through all this, looking at whether the inflation is really cooling down and what's your narrative for next 2 years, next 5 years, like that. And as we see these and get an idea of, okay, that was last month, and if you are going to read through and understand the current situation, this is what we are talking about. One side, it's showing you, no, the Fed is going to go heavy and kick the markets again. Great. And on the other side, you actually see like, okay, we do understand the inflation is still high. We have to push this down. All of the stuff happening. But the stock market does not agree with that. The stock market is actually pricing in something else. What is it? Inflation concerns are easing, and that's what the market is pricing in. So it's not what you think, it's not what I think, it's what the market thinks. Because the market has already priced in a 75 basis point hike, and right now they understand like, okay, that may not be the case and things are changing. So when you actually get to see, those who are in this market for a long time, they highlight you that, okay, I think inflation expectations are collapsing. So you are looking at literally stuff going down. One thing to keep in mind is this one, which is like, okay, if the Fed actually goes hawkish again, then you're going to actually look at like, okay, the inflation is actually going to come lower, or the market can be completely collapsing. Because if the markets are pricing in this one for next year, you do have to understand previously, a month back, it was being fed like, okay, the entire next year, you're going to observe that the market is going to remain above this, and 5 years, it may take slow down trend for the inflation. Now, if they can actually do this just by pushing the inflation 10% up, but the market is going to die. They're not going to do that. They will do 50 basis points, 75 basis points, or even 100. But with the level of data which we are looking at, more likely they may go for a 50. Now, we'll have to see how nuts things are going to actually unroll. But right now, you can actually understand that the market is slowly pricing that in. And at the same time, you do see regulators, policymakers, or at least the elected officials all coming on to one thing, saying, okay, we all need a greener space at a time when the world is entering into the global central bank digital currency era. And it kind of, goes against some of the stuff we have seen, especially when Buffett is increasing his holding on a company like this, Oxy. I would say like, okay, this guy does not invest for next 3 months or 3 years. He looks for next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So his best holding period is forever. Now, we don't have that much patience to stay there in an asset class for like 50 years. Great. And I would say in that sense, he's not actually pricing in or putting his money on this green narrative. So there is that, conflict of interest in that side. But crypto being a different stuff, and he don't even look at that. Now, he does invest in companies which have touched into the crypto market, I agree, but not direct investments. So this is actually showing you this is not going away. Oil is not going to go away. If you look at the consumption, and then when you look at the production from the other green areas, say solar panel or wind turbines, you don't actually get that much to meet the demand. Now, coming back on the crypto space, and especially XRP, when these all are happening one by one, and you in the market watching this, saying, I'm doubtful, may not be the right thing. But if you are sure about why you bought this asset and you double down on this one and your average is lower, most likely the pain part of waiting, the timing is over. Now, what you are looking at is the price moving higher. Now, yes, we do have to break higher. We need to do that. But understand that inside this market, when you actually look at all of this, you are seeing as a market in general, we are moving up. Now we are looking at different volumes. You are going through short, micro cap, whatever you want to look at. But at that time, you do have to understand where the money is moving. Say optimism coin. If you're looking at 100 to 200 in terms of the coins and look at the volume coming in there, it is much higher than all the other coins here. So you are looking like, okay, there is a lot of money coming in and going out. What's happening? You look at the liquidity and you see like a lot of people are actually buying compared to the sellers. This is a small step which we all can do going into the market, right? You go in, you check that, and you say, okay, there is a huge possibility. Now, if you look at others here, say KNC, it's also moving higher. It's grinding higher, 20% higher than this on a weekly, and the volume is much lower. Now, one of the other possibility which you can see is as the price breaks higher, you are going to see people entering. Now, why is the volume so low right now? This is something important in my opinion if you are looking at this. Yes, you did break this level of resistance, which was your previous high here, but you do have this trend line resistance coming in close at this range. So it's not like, you have a lot of room to run right now. So when you break this level, that's when you're going to actually observe volume coming in. So this is going to be same for a lot of assets, including XRP. So right now, you see a lot of people are not interested in buying this asset. Those who bought it and understand the level of fundamentals this has, they are holding it. But when you actually break 0.4 level, expect that to change. Because at that time, you're breaking through the moving average on a weekly and you're starting a new trend. So the FOMO kind of enters back in and all these stuff which we've known for a long time is going to come back into the market. So as you see the market is changing, you do understand that money is coming in. And right now it's not the speculation. For the speculation to actually come in, you do need some kind of clarity from the SEC, which right now looks like, a lot of word of conflict, a lot of bad stuff happening inside that, what SEC is doing, in my opinion. And as soon as that gets solved, now if Jeremy is actually, giving you the right perspective, and if that happens to be the truth, that definitely means in next 10 days, you may actually see prices going up. And usually in the market, the anticipation pushes the price up. So going towards 0.4, 0.6 at that time. And if that does not happen on September 19th, the price can drop. But if that price drop happens to be like you go up and then you drop and you hold this level, now you have chances that you are going to continue higher. That's actually a different story, which is going to be great for anyone who is holding XRP, because at that time, the price is going to test this range of previous support turned into the resistance 0.5. Now, we've been waiting for this from some time, couple of months. We are like, okay, we need to bounce back. When we are observing the Ether bouncing back and the altcoin market bouncing back, we want to see XRP bouncing, because right now it's at the support, it's here. That's a historically long-term support where you are at. And a bounce from there kind of confirms like your wave one is completed. Now, I know this is going to be hard for a lot of people to agree on that, but if you look at this, you do get clear indication of the market going back. And if you break through this level, which is going to be your critical level, okay, now you are talking like a bull flag which is breaking and you are starting to trend higher. Now, yes, you do keep in mind that this is going to be a resistance too as you are coming back up. But once you break this, anyone who is in the market right now, in the clear sense, looking at this would agree that your momentum is actually to this side and this is your corrective trend. Great. To get some more volatility, it's on a weekly, and you do see that, yes, most likely the price is going to go back up, because whenever the price moves inside two parallel lines, it is a corrective trend against the actual impulse. So when you're doing this, understand you're going to have consolidations, you're going to retest that, but then again, you're going to pump higher. But a lot of people would believe that once you break 1.8 or $2, but at that time, if you're not heavy in this asset and you don't have a decent position, doubling down would be really hard, considering the current price is 0.35, and at that point you're already like 6-7x to the upside. you miss a huge amount of coins if you are not buying there. But if you want more confirmation, buying here would be the best asset trader. But for this asset, me personally is not a trader. I'm a long-term holder for this asset. Bought as much as possible and I'm going to hold it through because I definitely believe this level was the real accumulation phase, which we were really lucky to be in at that time. And your averages were pulled down. So pushing your average up, that may not be the great thing, but if you already packed your bags, now is going to be the great time to watch the price go up. And if you're here, you're looking like, okay, I do see that, I have the patience for this, but at the same time, I'm also taking the opportunities inside this market. It's great. You do try to see this because some of these coins are going to pump today and some of these coins who are in red are going to pump tomorrow, the day after that. You look at the pattern, you understand that, right? Great. You take your positions in, you wait, and it goes up. When it goes up, do take your profits. Because if the volume is still low, that does mean after some time, if not you, someone else is going to slowly take the profit. It's going to correct back down. If you want to double down, you can double down. Or if you want to buy another asset with better opportunity, you can do that. So as we do that asset group, we post that and highlight that in the Telegram and the Patreon. So if you want to have a touch of that, a flavor of what the market is doing for different assets, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time and understanding of the market, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.